Breaking Boundaries Talk Show with your host, Hugh Mayers. Sometimes controversial, often provocative, but always informative. You can call in to ask a question or share your opinion on 0782 611 5543.
That's 07826 115543. Hey, listen, I hope I ain't messed with nobody's high. Like, you might have tickets to go to an independence dance. I'm not saying don't go and enjoy yourself. I do want you to think. I do want us to think. Is it what it says it does on the tin?
I did. The music them have. To show you. And guess what? Most of them never come to Jamaica yet. Most of them never come to Jamaica yet. But you see the music them have. May I tell you, man, it's a joy to see it. It's gems. You know, you have some Japanese where usually come here. I don't know if them still have come here, come buy a record, 45, original 45. I still see the chapel by Bob Marley. The Japanese paid 10,000 US feet. They believe I joke me and me. Original copy me attack now, you know, with a long time label. I still see the chapel, 10,000 US dollar. Single me attack, you know, I talk about album. When them man they ready to dig, hey, you have some. Me know a yard there, you know, them used to dig up. When them go to the yard, follow them go up there, my sister friend. When you see the man, them a take out record and 45, you know. Them not ask you how much money it come to, you know. Them take out what them want and then tell you, say, yeah, well, them ask you how much them owe you. Oh gosh, man. 45 me I talk about. 45. Most of them want 45. That's serious thing. This Jamaican music, yeah. Yeah. More accessible. Record usually broke or get scratchy. Yeah, you know, you hear that pan jump drive. You know.
Yeah, just touching on that, there's a wealth. So people's paying £10,000 US dollars for a 45 record. You know, it's a collector's item now, records are, right? They're collector's items. But from, I want to say ancient, but from old, right? Reggae music. So that's the reservoir of wealth, of cultural wealth, of depth, right? That the island produces, right? You think about the spirituality, you think about the culture, the heritage, the art, right? The expression from the island, right? So there's wealth there in human terms, right? That sometimes I can't even sometimes I struggle to articulate, right? But you can't put it into sort of material perspective. So when you see Hussein, them days when you see Hussein used to run under 10 seconds and doing his thing, and you get your 2 Dutch pot lid and start beat them, and you beat up your chest and you remember the phrase, "We little but with Talawa," right? It hits something, right? But you can't not be confronted with the art of today, the message of today, right? And the degradation of the black woman, right? The sexual objectification of the black man and woman, right? And yeah, this degenerate art form, freedom of expression, but something tells me that's evidence on a psychological level that the culture ain't quite independent yet. There's work to do. Need to get busy, right? Need to get busy.
CD was fine, but it just did there. You know, I was selling some of my CD there because I pack up the place too much. Yes, but the jump drive is one of them thing where you can have 100,000 music on one little jump drive with only your top pocket. Yeah? And you're gone. You play a party, you just stick it in the computer and you have access to thousands, over 100,000 music for one jump drive. You can believe that? For those of you who don't know. Yeah, man. 200,000 tunes for one jump drive. Them call it terabyte. Them used to have gigabyte. You know, them have terabyte. My brother that talk a while ago about jump drive, and I tell you, so you have something called jump drive, you know, like one of this, you know, your finger have.
Yeah, I just received a WhatsApp message from my brother. He said, keep beating the drum, Hugh. Yeah, step on them con. Yeah, feel no way. We little but with Talawa. I'm gonna keep pressing gas. So, like I said, it's a tough subject, right? The live link number is 07-826-115543. Yeah, it's a tough subject, but it's real talk. It's real talk. And this is breaking boundaries. So we're pushing the boat out. We want the Governor General to go and serve the king and live in England and serve the king over there. Yeah? We don't want the Governor General in the island serving the king. That sound like colonialism to me. That sound like white domination is alive and well. There's other structures in place that we want to question as well. Like a foreign power being the sovereign of the nation, and then sovereignty and the as a republic, it would reside with the people of the island. The final court of appeal being outside of Jamaica, and in particular with the former colonial power. And I say former in it kind of earmarks, because how former are you, right? And there needs to be a reshaping of the constitution, because you can't have a constitution that was set in colonial times. It reeks of the colonial era.
Three squeezed, three separate from it. Three, if you hold one of your finger, you see 2 mark. It's like it cut it, like you can divide your finger in a 3. Well, one of them division there, you have some jump drive where a terabyte it talk about. It's not talk about no megabyte, a terabyte. You know what tune that gone? Chuck got past 100,000 tune. And it a whole pan. Just look at your finger and look at one of the mark them. From your fingertip to one of the mark them. And you have 100,000 tune a play pan that jump drive. And look at your CD collection or your record collection. Or you pack up your house, full up your house. One time I couldn't have space for work in a little room with CD. You have to buy cases, pan top of cases, and fit them in there and put them in there.
Yeah, so keeping it moving. Yeah, so ultimately, there's something going on underneath the surface, right, when it comes to independence. It's like basically, or essentially, or fundamentally, we're talking about complete decolonization. I think that's what the phrase I was searching for earlier on. A move for complete decolonization. We don't want that link to the quote unquote mother country. It comes with all that bad state of mind. It comes with all that junk that we inherited, things like colorism, right? Something that is crippling the region. It ain't just, it's only because Jamaica's in the conversation right now for independence, but it's a It's a cancer of the black world, right? Furthermore, there is the legal side of things, as we mentioned before. Too much control and too much domination set from the colonial era. So we want to move away from that. We definitely want to move away from that. There's a psychoanalytical school of thought, right? Or school of psychology, right? That argues that anti-colonial struggles that are viewed through a psychoanalytic lens, right? A particular school of psychology reveal how liberation isn't just political, right? But it's a deep psychic structure, a deep psychic structure. Boom. Good afternoon, Queen. What are you telling me?
Good afternoon to you, Brother Hughie. How you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored, man. And good to hear from you. What's happening? What's your thoughts?
Good afternoon to everyone out there listening across the capital, wherever you may be. Just 2 quick points, because you know this is my thing on the Jamaican thing and all the rest of it. So, point number 1, from current experiences and past experience, there is a lot of people on the island of Jamaica who don't want to be free from colonial control, past or present. Past or present. There's a thing called fear. And the politics that goes on in Jamaica, historically, like I was doing on my show with Manley and Siago, that fear of being in one's own self-control, responsible one's own future, can be something that people can fear. Because if you've had over thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of being controlled, being told how your system works, how you're going to live, what your society says, based on colonial organizations, one thinks that you get used to that as some kind of normality.
Okay.
Many Jamaican people have a problem decoding the past. A lot of them have a problem accepting that decolonization of the past, decoding the past, can make them uncomfortable. A lot of Jamaicans have a loyalty, a love, and a relationship for oppressors. Who have oppressed their forefathers, who have oppressed their nation, their culture, their society. A lot of Jamaican people do not feel now, especially now, that it's something to fight against. Let's include them. Let's join. Let's not fight for our independent issues. Let's join them and let's be with them and focus on their issues. Because this is the thing when we talk about separation. Separation means to say when you separate, your attention and your focus, your time, your energy, then gets directed in your own things. You invest in your own people, that's not what we've got. This separation concept, particularly from Jamaican people or African people separating themselves from European people, whether it's relationship or whether it's nations, countries.
So Sissy, you're saying it's scary. You're saying that there's a portion of the people who it will be fearful for them to break away from like Eurocentric or European or white rule. It's scary. It's just they don't trust in the African self.
It's a bit like a Christian being a Christian from the time they're small. You have been indoctrinated with a teaching. You've been given a book that you know the scripture word for word. You don't even need a book anymore. And another group of people who look like you, come from the same cultural background and historical lineage as you, are coming to those group of people and saying, you see that book? That book is misleading you for your true self or your true powers. How many people can convince Christians to walk away from the Bible or people who are under their religionism to walk away from that? It's not because maybe the knowledge that they do learn or understand may be true. They may even learn to say, boy, really and truly, this book called the Bible, for example, doesn't line up. But so I know, innit? What am I going to change to? How long is it going to take for me to adapt to that change or work with that change? Is it going to be? So fear is a big thing. When you plant a seed of fear, it can hold somebody for the entire their lifespan. And we're not talking about individuals. We're talking about groups of society and people and culture.
So, but sis, all right, let me push the boat out a little bit on that. There's a spirit, though, amongst that population of rebellion. The Morambe rebellion is just one example, but the woman dashed the brick, as Muta said, and it kicked off down there, and there's always been pushback. So do you think there's like a conflict in the population, like where there's those who want to push for self-determination, and then those who say like, nah, bring in the king, man, and let's be friends with, to stop that reparation talk and stuff like that. It's upsetting the white people.
That is another fair concept, isn't it? That's another fair concept, because guess what? It took, like you said, fear to put our revolutionaries, Jamaican historical revolutionaries, male and female, Nanny and the
Kodja, the whole lot of them.
It took them, but Jamaica was in a different place then. Yeah, they were in a different place where the definition of oppression, suppression was completely different. Now it's blended in. It's more subtle. Now it's not so much as that we have you in chains and shackles to do what we want you to do. Now it's being done in a way where we want you to join us and you're a part of our stuff. You're a part of our stuff. Yes, we might be in the past colonial masters of your island, and what we want now, we've got a better harmony. Don't you see how many more people who are non-black coming to the island and spending their money on the island?
That's what I was just saying about white Canadians, white Americans going there, spending money and being treated like gods. Do you understand?
Yeah, and also not just being treated like gods, you've been programmed to honor them like that. Because based on economics, for all those people who are from Jamaica that live in places like Ochi and Mobile and are the top tourist places where these Europeans come and Americans and come and Canadians come to enjoy the Caribbean islands. Remember, we're known as a tropical people. We're the tropical people.
I'm trying to think of the name of the actor.
The investment of tropical people is not based on the people. It's based on a concept that you can go to that island in a safe manner, in a safe way, and enjoy one or two people who are from that tropical island, because they will treat you nice. Well, one, those Jamaicans in terms of looking at economics need the income. They're going to smile with master. They've got a job in whether they work in the hotels, doing whatever job or role. The point is, they might see themselves in a good position. And when they see themselves in a good position, me no business with them who talk to me, no business who own it, I get my money, me can feed my family, me no drive my car, I have a regular income coming, me can fix up my yard, me no business who own it. That concept. So we have that division. One is being fed that, just like in colonialism, you feed one set of group of people, like how you have the house Negro in the house compared to the field ones in the field. We're in modernity now. So the tools of modernity has changed. So therefore, it's an easier way. Rather than fighting against it, the concept of that we're working together makes you feel included better than making you feel fearful.
But you know when I say this though, I hear what you're saying. I agree with so much of what you're saying, but there's a level of compassion that I want to throw in the conversation as well, because poverty really compromises us. I'm thinking of shout out to the actor Carl Bradshaw. You ever seen Smile Orange? Or how do they come? Oh, the man called Ozzy. When they say, we come for shoot out your blood. And then he ran he ran off. Carl Bradshaw, there's a line that he says in Smile Orange, not how do they come, but in Smile Orange. And he says to the young guy that he was trying to like school him, basically. He was coaching him like, you got to hustle out here, we're waiters, but we got to hustle, we got to make friends with the white tourists and try and, romance them, gigolo up for a little bit of money. And then he said, you're a black man. And if you don't know if you play a part, you're gonna starve. And it's like that in third world countries that it don't endorse. I'm not endorsing compromise. But what I'm saying is that it becomes more difficult. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
When they got the people over a barrel, innit? They got the poor people over a barrel.
Exactly. So when you feel included in that kind of scheme, why would you want to go against it? Because your concept isn't that if I go against it, I lose stuff. I got to start from scratch.
I got mouths to feed. I got mouths. What's all this revolutionary talk? I got kids at home to feed. We need to relax with all that revolutionary talk.
Our nations is the economics. Remember, if Jamaica and certain parts of the African continent, the Jamaica, Caribbean islands were left with the economic reparations at the end of things like shackled enslavement, then we wouldn't be, working on master's plantation. Our parents would have inherited stuff that they may have handed down, and we would have economically, as a nation of people, be in a better position.
Yeah.
And when you're economically secure, it gives you a power, a sense of power. Your position changes. You're empowered in a different way. Economically gives you that because it makes you have choices. When you hold people down, when you hold people down from an economic development, you then control. So people from the Caribbean, the Americans and Africans, we will migrate one place to another for very specific reason. It's never because we don't love our island or our nations or we don't like. It's because it's economics. Canadians going to America, Americans coming to Australia. Same game, economics. The half of UK national health here have lost their doctors and nurses. Where are they working and living? In another nation, in another country, not because they don't like London. It's because of economics. Economics has a lot to do with how you control and manipulate a nation.
Yeah.
Now Jamaica is being dominantly taken over by a secondary nation, which is
China.
Beijing.
Yeah, China's now the power, isn't it? The power player.
I've been doing the shows on that for the last couple of weeks. And months. So we're looking at England like England is not playing a current role. We've got two colonial masters running Jamaica right now. England from history, and now we have the Chinese.
So there's a power struggle. There's a power struggle going on, Zarati. Over that little small place. There's a war. There's a socio-political war, or what do you call it? A cold war going on between Beijing and London.
Thank you. And America's not going to have it because Cuba's also involved. So is anyone waking up here? We've got four nations looking at Jamaica. We've got the fight between America fighting Cuba for their interaction and their loyalty to Jamaica. We've then got now over $850 billion invested in Jamaica in terms of development. One of Jamaica's biggest historical economic foreign investments they've ever had in Jamaican history. I don't know no nations, particularly one like China, Beijing, that is going to invest their money on anybody's island, especially when you're going into the billions, and say that we don't want nothing out of it.
No, we're doing it because we're nice people and we believe in we believe in the Jamaican people, the coat of arms, out of many is one, or because they got power play intentions. People could make a choice between those two positions.
And what is being played to Jamaican people right now is that, when we did have roads that we couldn't go through, which is true, you had roads that were really bad. China has developed economic investment to change the highways and this, that, and the other. At the same token, changing a highway also means that if you want access to that highway that we fixed up in your area, you also need to have the economic money to pass through it daily on a daily basis.
It's all a game. It's all a game.
Not only that, where before you might have jumped on a minibus or going a taxi with your brethren and you're sitting and drive that highway, a bit dangerous. Now we've made it safe. We've made it crisp. Also, that specific highway that there's development, where a tourist, hear the key drop, where a tourist may have gone through that town, it may have taken a 2-hour journey. That journey is now 45 minutes, which not the townspeople can access on a regular basis, but the tourists. And Jamaican people see that highway as a development. It is a development because physically looking at it from what it was, it's an advancement. We've moved forward. You put up a nice, pretty highway. But the rules and the unspoken trickery behind who has access, who can afford it, and who specifically is accessing it more. A tourist used to take 2 hours from one region to another, say like from Bogwalk to get to a certain place. Now that's 45 minutes through that new specific highway that's just been built.
They never built it for the Jamaican population in the first place.
So when I talk about Jamaica has 2 current living colonial masters, we have got that. The difference is that England doesn't invest. You just set the rules and feel that we need to conform as your past historical behaviour shows. Those are our island in Jamaica, the laws and everything else are based on the UK laws here, colonial history. Now we have a modern day.
Neo-colonial, should I say.
Thank you. And Jamaican people will not necessarily see that as a negative thing. They will see that as a, gee, I mean, I like Chinese, but at least them fix up the road. At least me can go here and me can go there. Can you? How often? And if that is the case, we shouldn't be hearing arguments about land that is now being fought for, that has got a history of people living on there for trillions of years, you know, and now it's an area that we want for development. Chinese people have allocated the new town and city.
What about the beaches? What about the beaches as well, though?
Living in that region for time.
Sister A, what about the beaches?
People will see that as a negative. Rich people will see that as a positive. Jamaican rich people they don't have a problem with what your Chinese people are doing. Because it's not impacting their rich regions. They're going to benefit from that development.
Sister A, what about the beaches?
You know, I knew about the beaches for the last 5 years. That's not something new. We knew that you were trying to push people off the land. Anybody who knows Jamaica, Helsha was the first beach targeted for that. And the reason why is because when we go home and we bring our children or our family members and those of us, even if we don't come from the region, everybody knows that Helsha is the number one beach down on them sides of Jamaica. We got Old Harbour. When I went here, I'm talking about 80s, so I know the changes from Jamaica from 80s. So where Old Harbour, when you drive through Old Harbour and come to Willardine, it would look like what you call nice, but kind of rough, kind of still. Now, it doesn't look like that. There's a plaza down there, the road fixed up this side.
But what about access for locals, though? What about access for locals?
2 seconds from around that side, you got Spanish Town, hardcore, deadly town. But at least for them, we can access this nice smooth road now and go from A to B. Instead of traveling 2 hours, I can get there in an hour, then fix up the road. Not people are going to see that as a negative.
But are they? I'm hearing that it's something like 80% of the beaches that the locals cannot really access. They're not allowed this. Yeah. Well, they can access, but that means that you have to go and rent the hotel room, and you have to be a hotel. You can patronize a hotel, but you can't as a member of the public.
That's how it got to the 85%. So all the local beaches along that kind of stretch, when you're going around the island, if you see a map, is under the ownership of the Chinese. Andrew Holness has already signed a 50-year development deal in Jamaica. So when people are just thinking, oh, it's going to stop in the next 20 years, they've got 50 years to invest their 800 and how much billion into Jamaica. 50 years of development is going to go on in Jamaica. And people need to look at that the Chinese didn't come and invade Jamaica to do that. They sat down at a table and negotiated with the head of the Jamaican government to get that.
I hear that. Sis, I want to let some callers come through, but I want to just ask, your show is on midday on a Monday?
Yep.
And midday on a Friday. And Friday is a food day. Is a breaking down the food day, yeah?
Yep,
Health is wealth. Yeah, because I'm just aware that as we're talking about colonialism, our island where people's natural food is things like bami and rice and the different rice and peas and plantain and yams and all manner of okra and different greens and different foods, but somehow KFC and McDonald's that's like a kind of food colonialism or a cultural domination. Why would you eat that stuff?
Yeah, well, guess what? There's a thing called culture and subculture. So for those of us who are old school, or even who come from the Caribbean, Trinidad, Barbados, we're the original cultures. We're the children from the direct lineage of culture, and we've kept that up and practiced that because we've grown our children in that cultural way at home, cooking food, certain dishes. That's why our children know what we call Caribbean dinners or African dishes and things.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened is our children have been born into a subculture that has allowed their minds to think you're a part of it when you're really not. And the problem is with that is that the idea that I can get fast food. Remember Friday's show I just did was on processed and ultra processed foods. 99.9% of when people are sick with some kind of health condition, it is triggered or it is sustained in the body through ultra processed fizzy drinks, nuggets, chicken and chips, blah, 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 blah. Now, because our children, in particular, Caribbean and African children, see themselves as Black British subculture, they believe they can function, eat, and have the same lifestyle and divinity as that subculture.
Okay.
Some of us as parents have adapted to that subculture. Unfortunately for a lot of us, now at the ages we are, we're now being diagnosed with long-term conditions, type 1, type 2.
And the same thing's happening on the island as well, though.
Et
and the same thing's happening on the island to some degree. I'm seeing numbers, figures and stats related to diabetes in Jamaica and hypertension and things like that, which is insane because there was areas of us here thinking, boy, it's so expensive to get a little ackee, you know, it's so expensive for a tin of this or that. You know what I mean? But it's there on the ground growing left, right and centre.
Jamaica has an increase now because I did a show on global statistics on diabetes specifically around the globe, Africa, India, China, Jamaica, Trinidad. I did a whole show on those statistics. Now, the problem is also because we always want to adapt what's going on in the West, our islands have supermarkets. Our islands feel, even again, like in any other culture, when they do these things, you look at the cultural demographics, i.e. are they rich, are they poor? You then decide to put a supermarket in one of the poorest of regions to encourage poor people that you have the ability to shop in here.
So psychology, you make it about status then, like, so eating natural foods, that's backward. That's for poor people or the Rasta man on the fringe of the society. But if you are really coming up in the world, you get your food out of a box. You get processed things from America.
Supermarket wrapped up in the packet because you can. Why are you going to go and kill the chicken and pluck the chicken and kill it in a healthy way? And you know it's grown on your land healthy. Why would you bother about all of that? We've got supermarkets. Americans have got supermarkets. English have got supermarkets. So now Jamaicans have got supermarkets.
Man, and when you eat that chicken, what they kill that run around the yard without the head on. That eat sweet. They don't taste like no supermarket chicken. The same one that you take out your granny's, you see in the what they call the fold coop, right? That's a good chicken. That's organic.
Thank you. When I go to when they go to the supermarket and the basket is full with how much $1,000 worth of shopping from the supermarket, and remember, one needs to look at who owns that supermarket that is there. It's owned by the Chinese. That was one of the first businesses that were established in Jamaica from in the 90s, setting up supermarkets, places like Spanish Town, places like Kingston, blah, blah, blah. And usually, demographically, like in the UK, you look at poor, low-income families or poverty families and stick up 101 chicken and chip shops that sell chicken for 99 pence.
Oh, man. Listen, Sister A, it's been a pleasure. I
should be back in the house tomorrow.
Midday.
Hopefully, I will be talking about racism in the national health. And an article based around that, see if I can get something going.
People need to lock in.
People need to lock in. I didn't need to be on there for so long. But yeah, I just checked in the second half of the show and was picking up some stuff, so I thought give you a quick heads up. And enjoy the rest of the afternoon and rise up to everybody that's logged and tuned in.
Blessings. Appreciate you, Queen. Appreciate you. Yeah. So there you have it. There's so much to break down, especially things like the food. How could you be on an island with all that organic, natural, beautiful food, and then junk food becomes part of the culture? Obesity, hypertension, heart disease, coronary heart disease. Can you imagine? Good afternoon.